Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tricast. You can see it. It's not even a surprise. You've tuned in. Myself, DPP of the DWI Podcast, Dave Ungar, attitudeofaggression.com, and the one, let me segue nicely here over to the man, the myth, the legend from across the pond, possibly one of the greatest professional wrestling interviewers of all time, Mr. Kinny Killa from the Sunday Segway. Kenny, we see each other all the time. Let the good people hear your voice first. How the hell are you doing?
Well, the one man with half of Instagram is back. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. As some of you may have seen, started writing again. Did an article for you boys, which was thoroughly enjoyable. So yeah, looking to do a little bit more if the subject matter meets my needs. But yeah, your boy's here, man. You know I'm always here for you guys. Let's get the show on the road.
No, it's good to have you back and at the chair shot doing stuff, and we appreciate you here today. Dave, how the hell are you, man? No UFOs today, no dragons, no PLEs of WWF past. We're talking the real deal today, Dave.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk WrestleMania 42. I just got the notification that we are live.
We are live.
I just got a notification that Kenny fell. Oh, there he is. Okay, sorry, man.
He's okay.
He's all right. He's all right. So yeah, we're good, man. This is going to be it's different for me this year because I'm not in Vegas like last year, but I'm sure we'll get into some of the reasons for that. Thrilled to have the Tricast back together. It's been a long time. It has been a long time.
And it wouldn't be a Tricast if we didn't also have the scientist DPP here with us. DP, how's it going over there? You're showing off all your, as Kenny would put, your fun bits behind you earlier.
Yeah, as I was saying, with so many Legos, and I don't have enough time to put them together, so I'm just collecting boxes at this point, and which is probably okay because I don't have any shelves to put them on anyways.
Well, I have one of yours over here that I need to put together for you as well, besides all the boxes I need to put together. But we're not here to talk Legos today. We're here to talk WrestleMania 42. Dave, I figured I'd kick it over to you and let you go ahead and take us along this journey. I got the matches pulled up here, but night one, we got the first hour on ESPN2, Jacob Fatu against Drew McIntyre. Let's start there, Dave.
First off, I just want to make sure everybody saw Drew's public service announcement this year because it was epic. If you missed his PSA from a year ago, his PSA this year was even better. And yes, it was fantastic. But yeah, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre. This is what? Basically a Vegas street fight? Is that what we got here? No holds barred and
unsanctioned.
Unsanctioned.
I'm
looking forward to this one. These two guys have been warring with each other for at least 6 months, if not longer. I think it's going to be an excellent match. It's going to be a great way. I mean, this is probably going to be what kicks off WrestleMania weekend, right? I mean, if we're looking at this is
that or the 6-man tag on Saturday between the Usos, LA Knight, and then the Vision with iShow.
Yeah, that'll probably be what leads us off. But as far as Drew and Jacob, I expect it's going to be a great fight. I got Drew winning this one. I think Drew goes over here at WrestleMania. He's had a solid year. They pulled the title off of him, which a lot of people have been second guessing. And I like Drew to come out on top here against Jacob.
But you heard the reasoning of why they likely put the title on him is because they wanted to have Cody Rhodes in those matches, in the Royal Rumble, in the Elimination Chamber. So that kind of makes sense to me a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I know people. Dan and I were happy when Drew won the title. Kenny, what do you think here? What are you expecting from this match? I mean, this is going to be a barn burner.
It's going to be a big match. These guys are going to go back and forth. We're going to see a lot of big meaty men slapping meat, as Big E likes to say. I think the build to this one has been it's been done very well because obviously this centers from Jacob taking the hit, all that, a while ago, and they started to build that up very well up until this point now. But I believe Jacob owes him. So I think Jacob's going to go over in this. Drew will put up a fight, but I just have this feeling that, Jacob needs his get back and he'll get this back now. And they'll probably move on to Backlash and we'll probably see them fight again there.
Kenny, did you say you believe? Should we say his name and he appears? Is that the kind of belief you've got? Or?
The most mediocre.
He already appeared.
You stop it, Tony. You stop that, Tony.
He's one of my overrated pieces of. Well,
name and he appears.
Say his name and I need more beers. Dan, what are your thoughts on Fatu and Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to just tear the house down. I'm really hoping they take this thing all around the stadium and pull out all the stops. This one being unsanctioned, we can basically see this thing go anywhere. So this is going to be kind of like your hardcore match. These guys will hopefully take it all around the arena, do whatever they got to do, and just put on a hell of a show, because this one's going to be, again, free on ESPN. This will be the one to get you hooked and really get you into the rest of the card. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a hell of a build up. Big grudge matches between these two, and I like Fatu coming out of this one too. I think he's going to get the W. I think they obviously got big things in place for him as well. Drew, I guess in my opinion, Drew probably doesn't necessarily need the win. I think Jacob Fatu getting a big win over Drew at a WrestleMania would be huge, and he can go on to, he's still got a little bit of feud with Cody that they could finish off as well. So that could be coming in, down here in the summers. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I got Jacob Fatu coming out with the W.
I'm gonna start with Kinny on the other match, because I feel like you did a portion of chair shot takes where the celebrities ruining WrestleMania. Was that you?
Yeah, that
Or
was me.
Or was that your article? What was your article about?
That was my article, yeah.
Okay, my bad. I think got so much shit in my head right now. I knew that was something about it. So what are your thoughts on them including I Show Speed into this storyline leading up to this 6-man at WrestleMania?
So within my article, I mentioned around, is the question, are celebrities ruining the build to this WrestleMania? But I don't think that is the real question. The real question is, do celebrities bring, are they bringing value to some of the matches at WrestleMania? And I think in this one, I Show Speed will bring value, especially, with him teaming up with Logan Paul. And the reason why I say that is because he will no doubt have that highlight reel that Logan Paul did when it was Logan Paul and The Miz, that first time around with WrestleMania. So I think for him, he definitely brings value to that 6-man tag match. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, because we know, just like Logan Paul, he's gone back and he's been, taking the business seriously, and he's been, practicing and stuff at the PC. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But I think LA Knight comes out with the pin. I think he comes out with the pin on I Show Speed in some kind of viral way. But yeah, I do believe that will, the LA Knight will take the win, and then the Usos will end up getting another tag rematch probably at Backlash.
Yeah, it makes sense to keep him in the tag title picture though, right, Dave?
Yeah, it does. But I'm firmly with Kenny on this one. I think this is, LA Knight has been the sacrificial lamb a lot this year. And a lot of the fans have wanted LA Knight to get that big moment and a win at WrestleMania. With the Usos by his side, it's going to go viral. Like you said, with Logan Paul and I Show Speed on the other side, it's going to go super viral. So I think Kenny's onto something. This will be LA Knight's WrestleMania moment. He's earned it. The Usos, I mean, they're Teflon at this point. Whether they win or lose doesn't matter. But I think it's a bigger deal for LA Knight. So I think I agree with Kenny. I think LA and the Usos get this one.
Any chance the Vision pulls off the win, DP?
I guess you got to say there's a chance, but I think I'm on board with Dave and Kinney here. I think LA Knight's going to get the pinfall, get the W. I got a feeling that, I think I said it last week too, that I Show Speed will end up kind of being the babyface at the end of this thing. I think, if he takes the pinfall, and you'll see the Logan Paul and Austin Theory get a little pissed at him for losing the match, and he'll get his, kind of WrestleMania moment-ish as getting cheered by the crowd for beating them up or something like that. So I think it makes a lot of sense to give LA Knight the W here, and then have I Show Speed have some kind of moment there at the end of the match.
I never gave my pick from the first match. I think Fatu goes over there. I think it really depends on how much longer I Show Speed's going to be sticking around, right? Because if he's going to stick around through the summer and keep working, like we know he's been down to NXT and done some stuff down there and been training, and we know he's probably more athletic than 95% of the roster. Like, this dude's an athlete. If you watch any of his stuff, there's people in other professional sports that are like, yeah, dude, you have the tools if you go and work at it to do whatever you want. And I firmly believe that with I Show. I'm a huge I Show Speed fan. I think that guy busts his ass nonstop, and it's brilliant to have brought him in. But like if you guys say this is kind of the end of his run for now, then it doesn't make any sense to put him over. So I would have to say you guys are probably hitting that nail right on the head. But two great matches to start off on ESPN2 right there for the first hour. And now you got to pay. Now you want to see it. Now you got to pay. Let's start with Gunther. As I battled to stay awake, and Seth Rollins. Sorry, Dave. He's getting better. He's going
It's
go right
another
to
of my
Dave
draft.
here.
You just shit on all my draft picks. Why don't you, Tony? Fuck. I should have named my federation the CVF, Charisma Vacuum Federation, or something. You know,
Lullaby Wrestling. I kid. What are you seeing for Seth and Gunther here? Because DP dropped the thought last week on DWI that this favor is going to be getting Paul Heyman to get Brock Lesnar to agree to a career match.
Yeah, he did that. I'm trying to look at this WrestleMania a little bit from the standpoint of what does WWE need to do to kind of get the ship back on track a little bit. And you know they've had their own issues and so did you guys see that Bully Ray had suggested that Tony Khan buy all the remaining seats for WrestleMania as a statement, which I thought that's hilarious. If he would actually do that and just like leave all a bunch of seats empty as just to fuck over WWE. Not that I don't think that's going to happen. We got phenomenal AJB in here.
You know about my takes, AJ, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
He knows all about them.
He does. But I think the thing here is I'm trying to think, okay, all that nonsense notwithstanding, what do we want to do here? I think, you know, with Gunther, you're looking at a guy who retired John Cena and AJ Styles in the last 6 months, right? Seth Rollins is coming back from an injury. We need to, you know, it's kind of like a gift that we got that Seth is even competing. It's like, oh, we didn't think that was going to happen. And here he is. I like Seth in this match. I think that they want to do something, you know, people are so annoyed with Gunther, especially you, Tony, when you can stay awake to watch him, that I think, and Seth is one of those big WrestleMania performers where he always goes in there and does something really dramatic against much larger dudes. And I just think like in this match, I like Seth to go over here. I understand what DP's saying with the favor and all that, but I think you're going to want to give the fans something to really get behind. Seth is coming after the division. I think getting Gunther out of the way opens the door for that. You know, Braun will probably be coming back soon. You know, whether Braun is back now and can get involved in this match and turn it to Gunther's favor, don't know. But I like Seth winning this one. I think it's one of those moments where you can make the fans feel good and give them something to cheer about. And like, cause it's like, fuck you, Gunther. You retired all of our favorites. Seth stomps his head in the mat. And it's not like Gunther doesn't have a track record of losing at Mania anyway. So I got Seth in this one.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's, you know, we've talked about that Gunther will probably retire Brock Lesnar, you know, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen probably more at SummerSlam, if that's the time, if he's ready to go. So it's still a little bit of a long build to get to there. But I do think that is the favor that Gunther's going to want. Though I think I'll go out on a little bit of I'll go a little wild card here on this one. I think Gunther's going to win. Because I think if you're going through this path of Gunther retiring guys, that I don't think he should lose. Again, same thing like that he did with, you know, when he won the title and had the IC title reign forever. I don't think they should have him lose. And if you want to do anything with Gunther to make him at least a little bit more enjoyable, you make him a Paul Heyman guy. And maybe Paul Heyman and Gunther join forces here, and that causes Seth to lose. He still has this feud with Heyman going on then and can still go after the Vision. Whether or not Gunther becomes part of the Vision, I'm kind of hoping the Vision just kind of dissolves a little bit. And Paul Heyman and Gunther go on their way, and that eventually leads to, hey, I'm taking down Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So I got Gunther here. I got Paul Heyman joining forces with Gunther at the end of the day.
Kenny, I seen you agreeing with DP, and then like halfway through his take, you stopped nodding your head.
I think there's so Dave and
he got bored just as you do watching Gunther. You got bored.
Well, I just meant that he agreed with you, and maybe he stopped agreeing with you at some point, right? Like that's the best thing about us four getting together, and the amount of time we've all watched professional wrestling and actually covered professional wrestling. We come in here, and you're not probably going to get maybe one match out of 13 where we all see it the same way.
All right. You interrupted Kitty calling me an ignorant slut. So, you know.
No, I agree with points from both Dave and DP actually in certain regards, but I'm more leaning towards DP in terms of, yes, I think Gunther goes over. And the reason why I say Gunther goes over is because of, you know, what DP mentioned around the favor being Brock at SummerSlam. And although there is a long way to that point, I think in order to do that and get that favor, he has to beat Rollins. It won't be easy. The match is going to be, I reckon, the match is going to be one hell of a match. It might even end up being one of the best matches on, on the whole weekend. On his back, from what I hear, so I think Braun's getting involved some way, somehow, to continue the feud with Seth. Gunther, I don't think he'll join the Vision. I think he'll just move on to whatever he moves on to next. But I really do believe that he's hunting down Brock, and yeah, in order to do that, he needs to win this match. So he wins this match by interference from Braun, and then who knows what's going to happen after that. But I'm really interested to see how WWE book after WrestleMania for everyone, because I think it's going to be one hell of a weekend.
I think
Too
it's
bad
going to be.
Tony's going to sleep through that match, Kenny, because I agree this is going to be
No,
a good one.
come on. It's just a gimmick. I'm not even drinking right now. That's the biggest gimmick infringement happening right now. PC Tunney, WrestleMania preview for 42, sober.
What's wrong with this picture?
I have another podcast to record in an hour and a half, and I'll be drinking
Okay.
then. It's WrestleMania week! Tune into the Chair Shots YouTube in an hour and a half for nefarious means. Gunther can't lose until he beats Brock Lesnar, right? And maybe he won't. Gunther probably won't lose until after next WrestleMania, in my opinion. I don't think Brock Lesnar should, spoiler alert, for when we start talking about night 2, I don't think Brock Lesnar should lose until he gets retired either. He beat John Cena for a reason, right? Seth Rollins is more Teflon than anybody in professional wrestling, right? Like, you could have him lose his next 100 matches, people would still sing his song, and he'd still be a legitimate contender for the world championship. So I definitely think this is a Gunther W here. I agree with Kinney and DP, but I do not see Gunther going with Paul Heyman, is kind of where I was nodding with DP until I disagreed with that part of it. So, and to Kinney's point, they've had so long to measure these guys with injuries and when they're coming back. You're darn right they should have some good-ass storylines to put them back into. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, etc. There should be no bullshitting with these guys. You should know exactly what the fuck you want to do. That's that right there. I got a little fired up on that one. Let's take it over to the women.
Fired up about
bit.
a Gunther match. That's really remarkable.
It was more about booking by Tony. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, Kenny. I want this match. I said it maybe a month or so ago. I don't know if still talking to DP or Dave, maybe both of them. You know how Macho Man and Steamboat is like one of the most iconic mid-card matches of all time for the IC title? These two women need to set that bar at WrestleMania for the rest of the women's division.
Yeah, although it will probably be, a great match, the build I just haven't liked. And the reason why I haven't liked the build is because I feel like it's become too comedy centric. Whenever they're talking, it feels like they're like overacting, like really overacting. And that for me, that's kind of taking me out of it a bit, where I'm not looking forward to the match because of the build. But with that being said, I think the match will still be good and they'll pull it out the bag because of, the hatred and that side of the build. It's just more the in-ring stuff which I haven't, the in-ring promos and things which I haven't liked. But that being said, I think Becky has done tremendously well with, bringing this title to prominence, and I think it needs to go back onto her to continue that. I think AJ's here for a cup of coffee. I don't think she's here part-time. I don't think she's here for, being on Raw every week and stuff. So it makes sense Becky taking that over and then, helping someone else, another woman to potentially get over. She's done that massively well with Lyra. What a bunch of matches she had with her. And, we can hopefully say the same with AJ, with the matches that they've had. So for me, Becky takes it down and wins the title again.
I wouldn't mind seeing, I'll give my prediction real quick before I forget. I think AJ holds on to it and then defends it on Monday on Raw, and Becky causes interference. AJ goes off into the sunset or whatever, and then Becky can start a feud with whoever takes that belt from her. It's just a different way to look at it. I like what you're saying too, Kenny. The build has been kind of long and absent at times as well. So, but that's what happens when you got some older combatants, right, DP?
You've got a whole lot of storylines you got to try and fill in television time, so you don't get to see as much, which can sometimes hurt thing. And yeah, I kind of I feel like that's been kind of Becky's MO recently is over exaggerating a lot of things and being a lot more over the top, especially with her character and the way she's doing things. I could totally see how it's kind of been a little awkward of a build and everything, but agree that it's going to be one hell of a match. And I really hope that does, knock this one out of the park and kind of set a standard for what should be done in the mid card level of the women's division. And I do like your take, PC. I think AJ Lee is going to win this match and hold on to it. But I would agree she's probably not sticking around for too long. But I do think she's going to win it. And I would love to see maybe the next night on Raw, somebody from NXT get a call up, kind of like Paige back in the day when she, surprised everybody and won the title. Take it from AJ again, and do it this way from, have somebody else. This is what she did all those years ago. Maybe we see it one more time happen.
So
Or at the
Ruka.
very least, maybe exactly who I was going to
Exactly what I
say.
was thinking. Hey, you know what's crazy? It also could be a returning Page.
That would be even funnier too. That would be funny.
Go ahead,
I
Dave.
would love to see something.
Well, two things is, as I've said before, I think this match missed the boat because it should have had a stipulation to it. It shouldn't just be another straight rematch. It should have had last woman standing, Hell in a Cell, something different about this match to distinguish it from the first one. But I agree with Kenny. I think Becky reclaims the Intercontinental Championship here. She has done so much to put AJ Lee over since AJ came back and legitimize her. I mean, how many times has she tapped out to her? You can't put anybody over any more strongly than that. And I think Becky is going to get her title back. This is her time to get the title back. You mentioned Paige. What if, Paige and AJ Lee have history with each other, lots of history with each other. What if she shows up, aligns herself with Becky, and she's the reason that Becky gets the Intercontinental Championship back? I could see that happening, but I'm solidly with Kenny on this one. I think Becky has done so much for AJ Lee to legitimize her comeback and to make her comeback feel as big as it has as it's felt. But I think this is her time to get that payback, and I like Becky to recapture the Intercontinental Championship here at WrestleMania.
In my opinion, I'm gonna say this as we move into our next match. The best division in WWE's women's wrestling now is the tag team division. They have done such a good fucking job with these ladies. The Irresistible Forces, Charlotte and Alexa, Bayley and Lyra, the Bella Clones. I mean, all of these teams have history, and there's other teams. Dan caught the Danhausen reference. There's other teams out there that can also make an impact. I thought it would be cool, and my prediction is the Bellas one last WrestleMania moment, and they can always lose it back to the Irresistible Forces. DPU, I know what your prediction is. Why don't you go ahead and jump in?
The Irresistible Forces, I feel like, should not lose for a while. I would love to see them keep the titles and dominate this division for a little bit longer. I think, two of these teams could easily have breakup qualities in them with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Could eventually feud, I'm sure that's going to happen. And Lyra and Bayley, same thing. Although I'd love to see them stay together for a while because, like BC said, the division's getting great, and having tag teams that are staying together has made it finally good, and to the point that we have 4 tag teams that can legitimately win the tag titles here, and having not only that but having a 4-way match is ridiculous. It was unheard of a year ago in the women's division. So I'm really looking forward to that just in general, and I think it's going to be a fantastic match. But I would love to see Nia and Lash hold on to these titles for a while and just kind of dominate the division a little bit. I know we've been saying that for a while, like just to have a women's team hold on to the titles for a bit. But I'm really hoping maybe they pull that off because they do have a lot of good tag teams that they can feud with and keep this division strong.
Jump in there, Kenny.
Yeah, I agree with DP. I must apologize. 'Cause I think at the turn of the year, I wasn't happy with what they were doing with the women's division, and I felt at a certain point that the tag division was taken away from the whole women's division. But my mind has switched, seeing as what's happened since January, moving into, WrestleMania season. They've definitely done a great job in, bringing these tag teams together to a point where now they've got a fatal 4-way tag and it's relevant. They've done good with pairing Charlotte and Alexa together and bringing Charlotte back into prominence. And they've done really well in pairing Nia with Lash, because I think that Nia's had some suspect pairings in the past. And I think that this one works very well. And Lash has done amazingly well. So I think I'm with DP. I think that it would be good for the Irresistible Forces to hold on to the titles, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. And from a prediction wise, I think the Bellas are just probably gonna win. But I'm with DP, man. I want the Irresistible Forces to just reign supreme.
I like what you guys are saying, and I think the Bellas winning would be the cool nostalgia moment, and that would give them one last moment in the sun. I love what you guys are saying. Nia and Lash have been dominant, and especially with on Lash's part, she should remain dominant. But I'm going to go with an upset pick here, and I'm going to take Bailey and Lyra to win the tag titles here. And I like, and the reason I'm doing that is I just kind of like, I look back at like last year, and especially like I finished watching Unreal season 1, and Lyra being such a big focal part of that, and the issues with Bailey, and kind of Bailey getting, kind of screwed out of a WrestleMania spot a year ago for Becky. And I think maybe this is a chance to kind of pay that back a little bit. Uh, you can make an argument for all four of these teams, though. That's like you're saying, Tony. That's the great thing about the women's tag team division is that you can make an argument. You could say Charlotte and Alexa recapture the titles. Okay, Nia and Lash retain. That makes sense. The Bellas one last moment. Ellie and Lyra probably the least likely to win, which is kind of why I'm going with them. I just like, let's do something outside the box. They're a good team. Uh, Bailey, like I think we talked about with Ray on the last episode of Big Five Project, that Bailey's one of the greatest of all time. He's just not getting enough recognition right now, at least not the last year. This is a really good opportunity to remind everybody just how great she is. I'm going with a bit of an upset here. I'll take Bailey and Lyra for the win, but however it turns out, it's going to be a great match. And you can say, 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D, and probably be right.
I mean, the fact that there's so many options that we're all okay with and that sound like good booking just shows that this is a division that's doing really, really well right now. And as far as Bailey being less prominent in major storylines on television, as that prominence has gone down, the amount that she is supporting and helping in the back has exponentially gone up. She is like the absolute leader of that women's locker room and does amazing things, especially, I don't know if you guys have seen the documentary on her school. I can't remember the name of it. It's so fucking good. Go check it out. Bailey's Wrestling School. It's on YouTube. It's a great watch. Last women's match of night one, Stephanie Vaquer defending her championship against Liv Morgan. I knew your mom was a bitch, but I didn't know she made one too. Shout out to Liv. Let's go, Liv. Get in there like swimwear, baby. I like it. Dave, this is a rivalry that should continue for the next 6 to 8 years.
It should. Yeah. I mean, when they first announced this, I wasn't sure about it, but these two girls have killed it so much that there's a lot of talk that they should main event night one. And I'm not sure that that's wrong, to be honest with you guys. They have done such a great, it's not going to happen, but I'm just saying there's been talk about it. The literal hatred that they have for each other as this has evolved between them has been chef's kiss. Beautiful stuff. I agree. This is a rivalry that should be long-term and be out there for a while. I was really up until probably this week going to go with Stephanie to retain. Now I think Liv's going to take the championship. I'm looking at what's going on this week. She's got that video, that trouble video. Whatever you want to think about it is whatever you want to think about it. But her promo that she cut this week was excellent. Stephanie has been a great champion. Liv is a little bit more charismatic at this point, and that's the language barrier. I mean, that's really what it is. Steph's got a really bright future ahead of her. I feel like the women's division with respect to the women's world championship probably wouldn't really be hurt by a changing of the guard at this point. Liv's super over. And I mean, I like Liv to win the championship here, but this is a tough one. I mean, my confidence level is 50-50 on this one, but I got Liv winning the championship here at WrestleMania against Stephanie.
Kenny, you agree with Dave?
Yeah, I do, but I got a lot to say about this feud, and I'll try and keep it concise.
Now you're gonna hear about it.
Yeah.
My main,
A lot of
my
props
main
with it.
issue, my main issue is WWE's handling of Steph, because I don't think they've handled her well at all since she won the title. She's had probably like 6 title defenses, which none of them you probably can't remember, and she's faced Raquel how many times? I don't think they've done her well like done her good at all, at all. The types of matches she should have had with the type of people that were out there. When you think about it, this was my reasoning around the tag division kind of taken away from the women's division, because without all the women being involved with the tag meant Steph had no one really to fight with. And it's left, for me, it's left her cold until Liv won the Rumble, and then they started kind of heating it up. So with the feud, for me, the feud started heating up once, so maybe a week or two before they bumped heads, and where they started getting a bit more vicious with the promos. It started off being like little a back and forth fighting and stuff, which is just the norm in feuds. But then they started to ramp it up a bit with the words, in the promos, which was done really well. And then when they bumped heads, I think that just took it to another level, because everyone was like, "Shit!" It just like she just cracked her head, and then threw her into the TV. But then on Raw, that just took it again, because Liv's face, what they did there, the visual of the bump and then the hair coming down on her puffy eyes, like they did that so well. Liv will probably win, and I just feel it's because WWE have made Steph really cold, whether they've done it on purpose or not, whether it's because of some injuries and whatnot. But Liv will be my prediction to win, but it will be one hell of a match. Sleeper of the whole weekend.
If I could, Tony, I just want to jump on one thing Kenny said there. And I think like Stephanie seems to be, we always talk about chasing versus defending, right? Hunter versus hunted. Stephanie seems to be better positioned as the chaser, the hunter, rather than the hunted. And I think that, and what Kenny says makes me think like that's kind of been her problem, is you have to have a certain mindset and a certain delivery to really carry yourself as a champion. I don't think she's there yet. We know Liv can do that. So I think that it makes sense to flip it to her.
I agree with what you're saying there, Dave. I wanted to talk about something Kenny brought up, and it's the fact that nobody wrestles as much anymore at all. Like someone bragged about how many matches they had the other like month, and Bailey's like, I used to do that in a week, and now we don't wrestle. Like they don't wrestle anymore. They really don't. And as far as not getting put in a bunch of different programs with the title, I think that's intentional with Steph, because like we said, she's supposed to be one of their main people for the next decade plus. Why give too many matches away right away would be my kind of thing. Let's just let her build herself with one particular group, kind of what they did. And I know it kind of was a little bit stale to start with, but at the same time, we're also dealing with a champion that, whether you want to believe it or not, there's this little bit of a language barrier there as far as delivering promos to the American public, right? And that's the standard at which WWE judges the promos being given, right? If you can't give that great promo, unless you're Asuka and we just figured out everything that comes out of you, we know now, right? We just, yeah, I get it. You're mad, Asuka. I hear it
Doesn't matter what you said. She's crazy.
Expletive when you, with one word, Kyrie there, right? But it's all good. It's just good problems to have, I think, DP. I got Liv by the way, too.
It really is, with all the, talent that is out there. And I think I was actually going to bring that up, Dave, the whole idea of putting her into chase mode instead. And it's something we missed with that. And a lot of times that helps get, a character, wrestler, whatever, over, is the build of them finally getting to winning that title and us, getting behind that character or whatever. And we really never got that with Stephanie, although, she was obviously hugely over at NXT and everything. But again, on the main roster, kind of just threw her into the title picture, and then here we are. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And I might agree, like it kind of didn't, because she hasn't gotten, I think, to where she needs to be and has that fire lit under her or anything like that just yet, until we got to Liv, and now we kind of start to see that. And I think her being in chase mode, maybe even a heel turn, I don't know, but it's something to get a change and get some fire lit under her and get that back, because she is going to be in this picture, like you guys said, for quite a while, because she's that damn good. And we just need to, start to get behind her and, everything like that. But
I'm all for getting behind her.
Yeah.
Where's that ding at? Hold on.
What did I do?
Where's the ding?
I support. I'd like to show my support physically.
I don't know about you, but my panty just went.
Thank you, Ray Romano.
But yeah, I'm on board with you guys. I think Liv's going to win this one. I think it makes a lot of sense for her to win it as well. I'll be interested to see if the Judgment Day gets involved as well. Is Roxanne going to show up? Is Raquel going to show up? Are we going to have any of those interferences? And yeah, I think her music video coming out this week kind of, and same for me, solidified the fact, because I was kind of 50-50 on this one too. But I'm like, okay, you don't do that and then have her lose. Like, but I mean, whatever. But I think, I'm kind of hoping post WrestleMania that maybe, because the implosion of the Judgment Day is kind of starting, that maybe we get the Randy Orton evolution treatment on Liv Morgan on Raw after WrestleMania as well, where they're celebrating with her and then they just drop her and she becomes the baby face. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm on board with Liv Morgan winning this one.
Yeah, Roxanne versus Liv, when we get that, that's money. That is going to be money there.
All right, gentlemen, the main event of night one of WrestleMania, Randy Orton with Pat McAfee going up against the WWE undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes. That's all the setup I'm giving it, because it doesn't need any more setup than that. Kenny, how do you see this playing out?
Oh man, I just don't like Pat McAfee involved in this at all. Does not need him in there. Does not need him in there. I think they were doing perfectly fine with just Cody and Randy. Just the links don't make sense. Yeah, I don't like it. But I think the match is going to be a good match. He's going to get involved one way or another. What that leads to, who knows? But it's not the one I'm looking forward to the most. I'll be honest. Out of all the matches at WrestleMania, it's not the one I've been looking forward to at all, especially since Pat got involved. But it depends on what direction they want to go. They did all of the messiness, from January through to March, to get the title back on Cody. So to take it back off him again, I think will be a bit weird with the all the switching with Drew and stuff. It'd be a bit weird to take it off him now. So for my prediction would be for Cody to win, especially after losing the title like last WrestleMania. So for Cody to retain would be my prediction.
Yeah, it didn't really make a lot of sense to put Pat McAfee in this, because Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes have how long of a history, dating back to Cody coming into the business, in WWE, and being with Legacy and everything like that. So, I mean, they've had plenty of story to pull from as well to do this. So it's kind of odd. And don't get me wrong, Pat McAfee's an awesome mouthpiece, can go really well and can, have some matches in the ring if he's going to want to get back in there and do more. But Randy Orton doesn't necessarily need the mouthpiece. But it's been interesting, him trashing everything. I think there's more to tell there with what he's doing, because he's been, CM Punk clashing back at him too, and in some of those promos. So I'm wondering if there's more going on that we don't, that we expect to happen here. Maybe there's, more with Triple H getting involved potentially, or, bringing some kind of corporation back in a sense. So we'll see. I fully expect there's going to be some interference in this one. That seems to be the MO of Cody Rhodes matches. So we'll get Pat McAfee involved and maybe more as we go. But I like Randy Orton coming out of this one with the title. I mean, McAfee saying he's going to leave the business. Not that he's always available, not that he's always around, but him putting that in there, that he's going to leave the business, makes me go with Randy Orton at that point, because you're really not going to say that unless there's more story to tell with them, or at least with Pat McAfee. So I'd love to see heel Randy Orton have the title for a little while, especially at least one more run. I know we've all kind of wanted to see Orton have one more run with the title, and I think this is the opportunity to make it happen and have him take the title for a while.
Go ahead, Kenny. I seen you.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, well, maybe maybe Pat McAfee ends up getting he loses and he retires, end up getting bit by a snake, and then he gets reinstated.
It's possible. That's possible. The sad truth about it, why Pat McAfee is there, is because Cody and Randy weren't selling tickets for night one. So they had to bring in Pat McAfee. The same reason they had to cut tickets by 25% for night one, because they weren't selling any fucking tickets. Roman and Punk are selling tickets. Cody is not the big draw that people think he is. People are done with Cody. I don't care who wins this match, honestly. I don't know who's going to win this match because of the thing with Pat McAfee. I guess if Jake's still around, we can bring him back even if he goes away. I get it. But I'm going with Cody Rhodes to win here, Dave.
So I think you hit something right there. There's the idea of the perception that we have about this match versus the perception that TKO and WWE might have about this match. And you hit it on the head. Cody Rhodes, as a champion, is not selling tickets, not putting butts in seats, not making that impact that we saw when Roman was a champion, right? And I hate drawing that comparison, but it's a valid comparison to make. Is it right for Cody to be blamed for some of WWE's shortcomings the past year? No, not really. But he's going to catch the blame because he's QB1. And I think because of that, what Dan says makes sense. I think we all would love to see Cody turn heel or there to be a double turn. And I think Hunter's got to do something with this WrestleMania to really shake things up and get people talking. But I don't think it happens here. I like Dan. You had Randy winning, right? You had Orton winning this thing. I think I'm with Dan on this one. This will be what, number 14 or 15 for Orton if he comes.
This will be 15.
I like him getting 15, and I like them maybe starting to tease him catching John. You know, I mean, John's going to be hosting WrestleMania. He's not going to get physically involved, I don't think, or maybe that's what Triple H does, something crazy like that to shake things up. I don't think so, Tony. I know you're shaking your head. I don't think so, but I do like the idea about Randy getting to 15. And then you've got an interesting story, you know, as to, especially if Cody wins that title back at some point, and then they're kind of like dabbling around. Does Randy get to 16? Does he get to 17? They got to switch this up a little bit. They got to change this up. Night 1 of WrestleMania does not have nearly the buzz that night 2 does. This is an opportunity to shake things up. This is an opportunity to really, see Randy Orton is one of the most popular heels that there are. Let's see what he does with this whole title. Let's see if that makes any difference. If it doesn't work, we can flip the belt back to Cody like we did with Drew. They're in a kind of a fail-safe zone here. Whatever they decide, it's like, is it going to make that big of a difference? When you're talking about like Roman and Punk, as we're going to talk on night 2, probably not that kind of a difference, but I like them doing something different. Give Randy that moment. Give him number 15. It's not going to hurt Cody. Maybe Cody does turn heel eventually somewhere down the line, but I like Randy Orton going over. I'm with Dan on this one. I got Randy getting a number 15 here at WrestleMania.
All right, folks, we're halfway through here. Before we kick it, Dan, before we kick it over to Kinny for a commercial, wink, wink, head on over to prowrestlingtees.com/thechairshot. Check it out. Tons of great designs. Makes a great gift for the wrestling fan in your life any time of year. That's prowrestlingtees.com/thechairshot.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is your boy Kinny Killa telling you to make sure you check out thechairshot.com, bringing you breaking news, interviews, podcasts galore, everything pro wrestling. Make sure you check it out, thechairshot.com.
Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
Welcome back to the Attitude of Aggression Wrestling Podcast, the DWI Podcast, and we make it the Tricast by having the one and only Kinny Killa from across the pond. Check out the Sunday Segue if you can find it, because there's so many great wrestling interviews. I think people can probably still find it somewhere, no?
It's there. It's all still on YouTube. Yeah, it's
there. You go.
So you
there
can
you
still
go.
find it. Yeah.
And I don't blow smoke up anybody's ass. You can ask Dan in our friend group. So Kinny, when I say that you're one of the greatest professional wrestling interviewers of all time, in my opinion, you are definitely that, my friend. And we're always happy to see you, even though we don't get to see each other as much as we used to. We all grow up and have new things happening, but it's always good to see you, my man.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And thanks for the kind words. Probably overstated, but I think what we what we've done together, how we've grown, how you've built, you've taken it and turned it into something amazing. Congratulations to you guys for keeping it going. I've kind of fallen off the wayside in a way, but we built something beautiful, man, and you guys helped me do that. So, and this is why I do what I do with you guys, to repay the favor. So always here for you guys.
Since you got married and had kids, Kenny, it's been all downhill, man. It's all downhill, man.
You need to Irish up that coffee a little bit. Bring Fun Kenny back. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Make sure you're heading over to attitudeofaggression.com. Make sure you're heading over to thechairshot.com. All those fun changes we promised you are still on the way. It's a little harder than we thought, but all the content's still back up there. You should be able to find.
That's Ray's fault, right, Tony? That's all Ray's
No,
fault.
that is not anything that would ever come out of my mouth, Dave, you son of a bitch. Dave is no longer the lawyer. He's the instigator, the big spoon, Dave Ungar.
I do want to say, for those of you watching on YouTube on the live stream, if you've got thoughts, opinions, you disagree vehemently with our picks, then you probably be right. Please drop us a line. Let us know. We're happy to debate you and tell you why you're wrong.
Send your hate mail to @WrestlingRealist. That's wrestling
Yes.
with no I, realist. There you go.
Yes,
Chair shot number
absolutely.
1. All right. Hey,
Please
we gotta
do.
keep it. We gotta keep it moving here. We are trying to execute efficiently here. And night one, I think pales. It's a great opening hour, but I think night two's opening hour is just so fucking sick, you guys. Like, I don't know if they're going to start with the ladder match or if they're going to start with Brock, but I can tell you, ESPN, the ratings they're going to get for that first hour when people see Brock Lesnar, and then when you actually, because no one knows who Obafemi is, when you actually get to see him, when they give you that vignette of these two been mashing up against each other, like, this is what's selling WrestleMania. These are the tickets that are being sold in seats. Kenny, this has been an amazing, awesome build to this very match.
Man, this has been amazing. You know, watching Oba from the very beginning when he came in 2.0 and seeing where he's risen to. My God, it's been amazing. The build, come on, man. We knew as soon as Oba got, came up to the main roster, we knew he was going to be big, and it was just how they were going to piece it all together. We know he can talk on the mic. We know he can wrestle. He's got the look. It was just how were they going to do this? And straight off the bat, they did the right thing by not having him placed on Raw or SmackDown, but now having him go straight for Brock. And man, the last 3 weeks has been amazing. This is what I'm looking forward to. I think this is what everyone is looking forward to. Now for the prediction, now I want my boy Oba to win. Now we've had a discussion, I know we've had a discussion off air and stuff about this, and yeah, Brock winning, it doesn't hurt Oba. Actually, it probably makes him even stronger, being very combative in this match. But for me, I'm gonna go with Oba. I just think it'll be stupid not to just go with it now. Just go with it now, man. Do the Brock run, make him beat Brock, then win King of the Ring, and then get that shot at SummerSlam and beat whoever has the title at SummerSlam, and just go with it whilst it's hot. I just think they'll be making a really big mistake by not making him beat Brock now. So my prediction is gonna be Oba.
I got Brock winning until he gets retired, and that's the only reason. I think it just makes people more hungry for Oba to get that big victory in any way, shape, or form. Like, my prediction's Brock. If Oba wins, I'm completely fine with that. They need to find a way to make him win, even if he doesn't win, if that makes sense. But if you miss the boat on what I'm about to say, WWE, you're doing yourself and your fans a disfavor. Either Gunther or Oba should be holding the belt going into WrestleMania next year, and whoever doesn't wins the Royal Rumble. Period. End of story. Now, if you don't think that I'm growing, Gunther's been growing on me, I don't make that prediction without thinking like that, okay? I gave Rhea shit when she came up to the roster because she fucking sucked when she came up to the roster, as opposed to what she was doing in NXT and then started growing. So once you start growing, I'm only going to tell the truth, Dave. What are your thoughts here?
I think I'm with you. I like Brock in this match, although I love everything Kenny said. Oba this is one of these situations where I think they wanted to bring Oba in and put him in with the biggest shark possible and see if he could swim. And he has swum. He has stood right in there with Brock. He's traded blows with Brock, gotten so over just by coming down to the ring with that music going. And it's so different. Oba's one of these guys, and there's been a handful of dudes you could look at and say, believably, this guy can take down Brock Lesnar. And I compare and contrast this. Remember a couple of years ago, Brock took on Omos at WrestleMania. And Omos was this giant guy, but nobody in their right mind thought that he was going to beat Brock Lesnar. Oba is a different breed entirely. And you look at Oba and you say, he can actually beat Brock Lesnar. But I do like, Brock was gone for 2 years. It's been I don't even know when's the last time that Brock got 39 was the last time he got a victory at WrestleMania. So it's been 3 years. I'm with you, Tony. I like Brock to get the win. I think, Oba's going to look great in the defeat. It's not going to hurt him. He is just by being there with Brock Lesnar, being competitive and scaring the shit out of Brock and teasing like he's going to win does more for him than just about anything. And like you're saying, if we are moving towards, which I don't think we are, but if we are moving towards Gunther versus Brock in a retirement angle at SummerSlam, then yeah, you're right. You got to keep this guy as strong as possible. Beating Obafemi does that. I firmly believe if you're smart WWE, you book it right now. You pencil it in. Gunther, Obafemi, WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. Let's go. And there you go.
Yeah, I agree that I wouldn't be disappointed either one of them winning. I think this is just going to be a...
More sentences that you speak should start with "I'm sorry." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry, that low-hanging fruit. Always trying to knock that out of the park.
I would have no problem with Oba taking down the Beast. I have no problem with Brock Lesnar winning it. I could see a storyline of Brock losing and him starting to doubt himself, and then go after Gunther, and then deciding if I can't win any more matches, I'm just going to retire, and Gunther retires him. So I could see that as the reason Brock takes a loss maybe here and maybe one more big one before SummerSlam. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
Spoiler.
And Paul Heyman said the lines. And when Paul Heyman says the lines, it happens. And Brock Lesnar is going to win this match because of that. I think, yeah, Oba's going to look phenomenal in defeat. And it's not going to take anything away from him, I don't think. And, whether or not he maybe gets that revenge down the road or something, maybe they do that. But yeah, he's in line for the biggest thing, that you could possibly think of. WrestleMania next year would be great. But I don't think Oba's going to lose anything necessarily, but he's going to look like a monster in defeat, and Brock Lesnar will catch him with something and pull off kind of an upset victory, even though Brock Lesnar is going to sell like crazy. I think Oba will dominate the offense, and Lesnar will catch him with something and that match, and maybe shake his hand and walk out. But I think we're in for one hell of a start to WrestleMania night 2.
Dude, if Brock actually shook his hand, because Brock does not do that, that puts Obafemi over bigger than probably even beating Brock would, to be honest with you.
What he did to Cody.
Only did it with Cody. That was
and
it,
look,
right?
Look what happened. I mean, that launched Cody to Roman.
Do you put this match first, or do you put it second? Possibly risky the fact that you could have one of the greatest ladder matches of all time between Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev. You got to have a big guy in there. Javon Evans, and a man on fire, Penta. This could be an insane match of the weekend, Dave. I'm gonna pick JD McDonough to come out of here as your new Intercontinental Champion.
I say you absolutely put this on first, before Brock and Oba. We use the term curtain jerker, right? We talk about that, the match that starts WrestleMania and gets everybody going, right? And like last year, night 2 was Bianca, Rhea, and Io Sky. And that got that whole crowd going and really charged them up. This is an opportunity to do something similar to that. Ladder matches at WrestleMania are typically barn burners. This is going to be no exception. I like Penta to retain the championship here. I know they do some weird things in Intercontinental Championship matches, but like you're saying, a man on fire. Penta has been on fire, and he has just really transcended. We say it all the time. I want, when are him and Rey Fenix going to get back together? When are the Lucha Brothers getting back together?
When Penta stops making money as a singles competitor.
Right, and exactly. And they don't need to do that right now because Penta's just so over and so on fire and just doing, exceeding so many expectations. And all the AEW, schmucks out there said, oh, he's just a tag team wrestler. He'll never amount to anything like that in WWE. What do you say now? Because he has exceeded all expectations. I love this guy as Intercontinental Champion. Love his entrance, everything he does in the ring. This is his match. Ladder matches are his match. I got Penta retaining the championship and moving on for an even longer Intercontinental. There's so much more they can do with him. I like your pick, Tony. I do. I just like Penta to come out of here on top more.
I think this match goes on second. I think Oba and Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar's music or Oba's music entrance coming out to start the show is going to be huge. And since everybody knows Brock Lesnar, they're going to tune in. They're going to see Brock, and they're going to stick around to watch the rest. Also, because, after match 2, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of an intermission, and that gives them a chance to, clean up all the ladders and stuff that are going to be around. So there you go. They got extra time between. But yeah, probably
What a
Probably.
fucking dorky scientist reason, you nerd.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking of
it's
the
actually a really, it's a really good.
aftermath.
Yeah, it's like,
Look at
hey,
me.
what about
I'm
that guy
thinking
from
about the
Atlanta over
cleanup.
there?
You know,
Is
look,
Jelly Roll gonna help with that too?
damn well better.
That was
Doesn't have a
actually
match, so
that
why
was
not?
actually that was actually paying Jelly Roll a compliment for the stepping up he did while training.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a ridiculously good match. This might be the match of the weekend. I mean, you got so much talent in here, and it's hard to pick. I mean, everybody has a great opportunity to win it. I think the only one that was probably the odd man out was Rusev, and they did a hell of a job showing how dominant he could be on Raw by taking out the entire field of wrestlers and standing tall at the end, because now it gives you that feel like, hey, well, maybe Rusev could win this thing. I would love to see that as well. But I think another Lucha is going to come out with this title. It's going to be Rey Mysterio. You threw him in here at the last minute. I feel like you threw him in here at the last minute for a reason. I think there's a good history coming up here. Dom mentioned on Raw, it's his IC title. And what the hell is his stupid dad doing in this match? That's my IC title. Well, now he's got an opportunity to go back after it. And we can have Dom and Ray battling again to get that IC title back onto Dom. And maybe that happens at SummerSlam. So I'm thinking a little bit long-term storyline here that Ray and Dom are going to have their matches once again and get back into another feud. So I got Ray winning the IC title and coming out on top.
Kenny?
It's interesting what DP says with Ray winning, because yeah, it could lead to, I mentioned it off air, it could lead to Dom versus, Ray, mask versus title kind of situation.
Does Dom retire his dad?
Dad, yeah, I mean, if he was my son, if I would want my son to retire me, that's how I would want it. If he's in the business, I would want my son to retire me and get him as much heat as possible as a heel. So that's an option. I think this match is going to be absolute, like, crazy. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. But I think Penta wins. I just think Penta retains. He's done so well so far. They've got all the key ingredients to have such an amazing match. JD's going to take the bump of the weekend, and I just think Penta's just going to retain. Yeah, and it'll be good for him. It'll be good for him because he's done very well, with the merch sales on TV, charismatic in all the Spanish areas, as Mexican, Latina areas as well. He's done very well in that market. So yeah, Penta retain.
All right, I'm going to do a double here. So we're going to go around and because I want to give time to Roman and Punk. The Demon against Dom. We brought up Dom already. I don't think the Demon needs to win. I'm picking Dom. And Trick versus Sammy. This has been the worst booked title. Taking it from Ilya, giving it to Mello, giving it to Sammy, giving Mello another shot, and then still just having Sammy and Trick. I like Lil Yachty. I think he's hilarious with Trick. I don't think there's any way Trick doesn't come out of here with this title. So give me Dom and Trick in these two matches, Dave.
I don't think you bring the Demon back to have him lose to Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania. I mean, the Demon will lose very rarely. We talked about it on the last episode of Big Five. Roman and Edge, that sort of thing. Dom may get to that category, but you're not. And Finn Balor needs a big moment. I don't think you do this whole face turn, that sort of thing. Bring the Demon back to have him lose to Dominic Mysterio. So I got the Demon winning here at WrestleMania. And Sammy is a little bit trickier, that sort of thing. I agree that the build has been shit. I mean, none of this stuff makes a fucking
just
bit of
confusing.
sense, but it really is. It's like, why I would have rather seen, Carmelo, Trick, and Sammy have like a triple threat would have been kind of fun.
Keep Ilya in there too.
Huh?
Keep Ilya in there too.
Ilya needs to be in there as well. I mean, you could add those four guys who've been feuding over this the last 3 months and really made it an interesting match. But I think I'm with you. I mean, the crowd is kind of really soured on Sammy the last few weeks. Trick is you're going to have whoop that Trick. 1,000 people in the Allegiant Stadium chanting that. Like, I'm with you on that one, Tony. I think Trick wins the United States Championship here. It makes the most sense. But yeah, that's what I got for these two matches.
Kenny, what you got on the double here?
On the double, I'm with Dave on this. I think Finn wins. The Demon, no way the Demon comes out to lose. Plus, he's the one that got kicked out of Judgment Day. So I think he's winning. In terms of the other match, Trick and Sammy, again, agree with Dave. The build's been terrible. I feel that they're going to do a double turn. He's too over. Trick. He's too over for them not to. Whether they do it on Mania, um, or whether they do it on the following SmackDown, it'll be one or the other. But I reckon they do a double turn. Sammy's ready for the heel move, and Trick's ready for the babyface turn. So Trick's coming out of here winning. Yeah, that would be my pick.
Can I just say I love Kenny doing it because everybody's expecting the Cody Randy double turn. What if they just swerve us and do it with Sammy and Trick? But he's right, man. Trick needs to be a baby face. They want him to be a face. Steer into that skid and go with it. I love that call, Kenny.
Double prediction time, DP.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see that. Sammy does feel like he's going on the heel run here, even though, I felt like, maybe they're going to give him the, a world title match at next WrestleMania being in Saudi, but I would feel like they would do that more as a babyface than a heel. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with that. But I do like Trick Williams coming out with the title here as well. It felt like this one should have been another like 6-man match or something, but they already were doing that for the IC title. So maybe, they tried to switch things up. But yeah, definitely a weird ass build. So Trick turning babyface here, winning the title. I'm on board with that one. And I'm on board with the Demon as well. That's a tough one to call because, I think Dom can easily take the loss, and bringing the Demon out seems like he's only lost a few times, and I don't think losing to Dom here would make a lot of sense. Him getting a win here as the Demon, especially being kicked out of the Judgment Day. Yeah, totally makes sense to get some redemption back on Dom.
All right. Well, the Demon's lost the last 2 times he's been out there, just so everybody knows. Not a big deal.
So what, Roman and Edge?
Roman and Edge. Just
Yeah.
two of the greatest of all time, but hey, who's counting?
Samoa Joe before that in NXT. All right, let's talk Jade and Rhea. I love the growth that Jade has made. I love the fact that they surrounded her with a faction-esque type group, but there's no reason for me to not predict Rhea Ripley to win the belt here. I think Jade's had a really good first run. I think there's so many big things waiting for Jade down the road. Bianca, Naomi, unfinished business. Like, those storylines need to be told and fulfilled because that's some fire booking they can do with those 3. But the weirdest thing to me is Io, where she is booked into this WrestleMania, I think is really odd. But I think it's Rhea's victory. It's Rhea's title here, Kenny.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I think you're so right with everything that you just said. There's more stories to be told with Jade.
You mark the tape can on that one if you guys
1 hour, 7 minutes, and
soundbite.
5 seconds.
That's a new soundbite right there. Kenny, you're the man. If I told you lately that I love you. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I think, Jade, she's had a good run as well. And I think there's other things for her to do, people to kind of feud with, and other stories there. Rhea, she'll then be on SmackDown, get some fresh feuds, with Tiffany and the Juggernaut and others. But I think she definitely takes it down.
Dave?
This is a tough one, and we've talked about this before because Jade has made great strides as the WWE champion. They put her over pretty damn clean in that match against Io a week ago. And if you told me a year ago that Jade would beat Io Sky clean, I would have laughed at you. But that's what we got. At the same time, though, Rhea we've talked about Rhea as well as the story of just kind of like not being able to get it done in these clutch moments. We talk about teams who just fail in the big game, in the big moment. And Rhea has done that more often than not over the past year, going back to last WrestleMania. I think this is a chance to kind of rectify that whole issue and give Rhea a big moment. I fully expect, Michin and B-Fab to have Jade poised to get the win, and we wonder where Io's going to be. Io's going to be the thing that equalizes this and neutralizes B-Fab and Michin and allows Rhea to hit that big riptide, and the crowd will lose their mind. They'll pop so big for Rhea. She's probably the most over person in the entire card. So, how do you deny her again? I don't think you do. I think, like you're saying, there's more stories to be told with Jade. This is not the end for Jade. It's just another transition. Rhea needs this win. I think you need to put the belt back on her and let her go. And you can actually stretch this feud out for the summer. Rhea and Jade, this could be one of those WrestleMania things where the WrestleMania match is just the beginning of it rather than an ending. And they have the potential to be the beginning of this sort of feud. But I'm with you guys. I got Rhea coming out and winning and being the WWE Women's Champion at the end of all this.
Clean sweep prediction wise, DP?
Hell no. No, not hell no. Just no. Because I could see either one of them coming out with it. You saying Rhea moving to SmackDown, I didn't even think about that. That may be a good reason for her to win it, is to get those fresh feuds and move her into another spot onto the other brand. So that would definitely be interesting. But I got Jade winning here. I think having her win and get a solidified W on biggest stage of them all against, as you said, Dave, I agree, the most over superstar in Rhea Ripley. I mean, that's huge. And if you want to keep putting Jade over and get her even more to that upper echelon, this is a great way to do it. And yeah, we're going to get a lot of interference in this one as well. Like you said, with everybody in Io Sky. But I got Jade coming out of this one. And yeah, there is a lot of feuds for her coming up. And then she can do that with the title as well, when Bianca comes back. And what would be interesting, and probably too soon, but you mentioned Naomi. It's only been a month, I think, since she's had the baby. So it's probably too soon. But to see her come back and help Jade, because Naomi was a hell of a heel, and all that got lost. That whole storyline got lost with everybody getting hurt. Whether they ignore the storyline or not, fine. But I want to see Naomi stay as a heel because she was damn good before she left. But I'm sure she's going to get the shit cheered out of her when she comes back. But her joining forces with Jade would be really interesting.
Dan I don't know about Naomi because it might be too soon, that whole thing. What if Bianca came back and joined forces with Jade and leads to
Bianca
her...
is ready to come back and you don't have her in a match at WrestleMania, then you're just pretty stupid.
Oh, why? Well, why? I mean, if she just came back, if she can't actually go, but if she's well enough to get involved,
that's fine.
Then you move towards either Bianca and Rhea or Bianca versus Jade. But you've got a year now to build to that and create this. I mean, we saw how dominant those two were when they were the tag champs. So maybe
we'll see. We got a good little bit of time here. Do you guys want to hit maybe any possible surprises you think are coming back? Because I think I saw a really interesting thing where Kevin Owens comes back and helps Cody, and he's the anti-TKO, or he comes back with Pat and Randy and he turned to TKO's side.
Why not?
Is he ready? Is he ready to come back?
It's another thing though where he wouldn't necessarily have to be ready if he's the mouthpiece that's from either going against TKO or sent from TKO, because he's been doing some stuff while he's been out too.
I saw him. He was at a hockey game.
Breakker coming. I saw that.
Yeah, Braun coming back seems inevitable. That sort of thing. I think we've talked about that. KO would be cool. Paige was a fun.
We brought up.
That would be fun. Bianca
Breakker
would be fun. I'm just trying. Who's been out for a while who we're not thinking of?
Anybody we're not mentioning that you got on the tip of your tongue?
But we're talking WWE, so we're talking Omos.
Yeah, Omos.
We're talking Omos. I don't know why. I can just see them doing something silly like that. But yeah, Paige would be a cool one, man. That would be a really cool one. Braun is the one we're expecting, I think.
Yeah.
Anyone outside of that, really, yeah, it might be Raw after WrestleMania.
And sometimes those surprises are best kept for the next night too. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
I think Kevin Owens come back is a great idea, and having him get in that storyline. It only takes a couple pieces of the tape to make the T next to that KO on his shirt. So there you go.
Possibility.
All
right.
Well done.
Let's get into it. The main event of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns back to smash them all. Mike, you're officially banned. We're not talking about any comments you have for the rest of the show. We love you, Mike, but we're not talking about that. No.
I will say to Mike,
no.
Hear me out. To Mike's credit, Mercedes dropped all of her belts.
Oh my God.
So that's going to get people thinking.
You guys are crazy. Okay, that's great. Anyway, Roman Reigns and CM Punk for the world title. Dave, what happens? Lay it on me.
Earlier, I talked about Cody Rhodes and why maybe Cody was unjustifiably getting some of the blame for WWE's lack of ability to move ticket sales and that sort of thing, right? I think there's a similar mindset that's going to go into this match, right? And as great as Punk has been for WWE, and as great as he's been as far as trying to be the world champion, you look at the business, and when was WWE at its most popular since the Attitude Era? And who was on top during that whole time frame? 4 years of Roman Reigns in the bloodline. WWE shattered records everywhere, right? And I think at this point, you look at it and say, all right, this has been a fun diversion. Punk, we appreciate everything you've done. You've been a great champion. Let's get back to where we were. And the easiest way to do that is to put the gold right back on the original tribal chief, ones to the sky. I think Roman wins this one. I mean, it's a tough one because there's arguments you can be made for all of it. But I think right now, if you're TKO and you're looking at the business angle of things, and it is a business, whatever people want to think about it, it's a business first and foremost. And they're looking at their profit margin and when were we most profitable? When were we most popular? It was when Roman Reigns was the champion and everybody was trying to take him down. Now, do I think Roman's going to go on another 4-year run? No. But do I think he comes out of WrestleMania 42 as a champion, making Punk acknowledge him? Yes, I do. I got Roman Reigns recapturing winning the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk here at WrestleMania.
Kenny, do you have Roman Reigns winning the World Heavyweight title from CM Punk at WrestleMania?
I do. I do. I have Roman Reigns winning. He's been, away for a while. He's been part-time for a bit. He's recharged his batteries. And I feel like it's been a while since the title's been on him.
You shouldn't have put that one up there, Dave.
I just thought
Sorry,
it was funny.
Kenny.
And I'm trying to throw Kenny off his game a little bit with this. I like your response because it's like, that'd be some shit, Jericho. It's all been a ruse, folks.
Yeah, I just think it's probably time. We've talked about Cody and maybe not selling tickets and whatnot being QB1, and yeah, they might kind of resort back to how things were. So I think Reigns definitely takes it down. For Punk being in the main event with Reigns, the actual main event is huge, and I think Punk will be happy to lay down for Reigns. I just think Reigns holds the title to SummerSlam, where he will eventually lose it to Obafemi. Nitro.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I know,
don't
like
think
Tony,
there's
you've been
really anything
talking.
wrong with that.
Tony's adamant that if Seth had not got hurt, we would have got Seth versus Roman. Maybe they're moving towards that for SummerSlam.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's plenty of options. And does Punk take a little time off? Yeah, I think it's Roman's time, unless they do something very drastic. I don't see CM Punk just beating Roman Reigns and both of them kind of staying in the molds of who they've been leading up to this. DP, what's your prediction here?
The one's up. I mean, it's going to be the bloodline rules again. I think, mentioning that Rollins thing, that's where we all thought, kind of was going to go. Rollins and Reigns, it seemed to be the story that they haven't quite yet finished. And I think we're going to get back to that somewhere here shortly down the line. And I think we're going to get a little bit more bloodline storylines. I mean, they've been teasing a lot of it with Jay kind of getting a little bit more of an attitude and kind of, in that one segment, kind of directing Roman Reigns to get back in there and beat his ass, and, Jimmy being the happy-go-lucky part of it. And, they're kind of starting to get back together a little bit, and hash some things out, I think. And you see, Solo Sikoa on the SmackDown side showing up on Raw, and they're, Tama Tonga, getting a little, they're starting to kind of break up a little bit. I think maybe we start seeing some splitting. And maybe them joining forces a little bit more. I think that would be really cool. And like you said, Dave, that's when they were just killing it, when they had all that going on.
They were at their height of their popularity since the Attitude Era, the height of the profitability. This is what enabled, like Mike's talking about, when WWE merged with the UFC and became TKO. The whole reason they were able to do that was because of the value that WWE had during that whole bloodline story. We've talked about it. I mean, Tony, we've talked many times that the bloodline story arc is the only thing that comes close to the mega powers exploding as far as long-term booking. And like, I love what Dan's saying. What if you get that original bloodline? Let's say you get Roman, the Usos, Solo comes back over with his guys. Shit, now all of a sudden the bloodline is stronger than they've ever been. And you've got a whole year or two that you can mess around with that. And maybe we do get to Rock Roman at some point in time. I don't think so.
God, what the fuck?
I know I
Biggest
know we
fault
had that.
in WWE history.
I know.
All right. Yeah, that's all I got. That was a great show. It was a great preview. I think a lot of good opinions, a lot of good possibilities if you tuned in. If you enjoyed, tell a friend. Attitudeofaggression.com, thechairshot.com, prowrestlingtees.com/thechairshot. DP, where can everybody find you? And part of this TriCast show that we're on.
You can find me all over the worldwide social media interwebs. It's me, DPP. And the DWI podcast portion, you can follow that at Podcast DWI on the X and Facebook.com/DWI Podcast.
Kenny, it's always great to see you, my man. Where can people, what's the half Instagram? What's going on over there? Why isn't it a full Instagram? Or maybe you should take a little time off and have it be a third of an Instagram.
Hey, Kenny, you can have half of my Band X account if you want it. I mean, I'll just give that to you.
Well, it's actually a full Instagram. I'm lying. I'm just started to keep. I want to keep my moniker, man. I got to keep that, you know.
keep
I
the
apologize.
Keep the gimmick, Kenny.
That's on me.
Yeah,
that's on me.
But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Kinny Killa, and then on X, still Kinny Killa. You can find me on there. Happy to talk wrestling as always, but probably be seeing my name written down a lot. Amongst some articles for chair shops. So yeah, if you hear the siren coming, holla at your boy. It's Kinny Killa.
Mr. Ungar?
Look, I'm just thrilled that Kenny's back in the fold, talking wrestling in any form or fashion, because I agree with you. He is one of, if not the greatest wrestling interviewer of all time, and none of us would be here without the one and only Kinny Killa, man. Nothing but respect. But as far as me, yeah, check out the attitudeofaggression.com where we've got the Pro Wrestling Podcast, we've got Unidentified History, we've got Game Gone Wrong coming back in a few months for House of the Dragon Season 3. And of course, check out the YouTube channel, the Attitude of Aggression's YouTube channel. There's pretty much always something going on over there these days. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Always, I'm thrilled that we got the TriCast back together. It is always a joy and a pleasure to talk some of these big pay-per-views with you fellas. So thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Hey, thanks for having me on your show. Thank you.
All right, if you play that
sick
Amber
of it.
soundbite, you can follow me at PC Tony. We'll see you all very, very soon. You could just cut to Amber.
Thechairshot.com. Always use